On the other hand, though, the National Commission for Civic Education, as part of the efforts in engaging the citizenry and strengthening Ghana's democracy, is hosting its second dialogue series. The dialogue series is a platform created to work towards deepening an understanding of the citizenry on Ghana's democratic governance process. The dialogue is on the theme balancing the powers between the three arms of government. What are the constitutional guarantees of independence theoretically and in practice between them, and how they can also be strengthened? A look at the 1992 Constitution and you see that as the supreme law of the land, it provides for the sharing of powers among a president, a parliament, a cabinet, a council of state, and an independent judiciary. Through a system of checks and balances, it avoids bestowing preponderant power on any specific branch of government. Now, it goes on and on. Now, to help us start off the conversation right here on News Desk, just before we bring a live coverage of that forum, is Dr. Maurice Ampao. He's president of the Legal Advocacy Foundation, Ghana. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, my sister.
I want to believe that the three arms of government are well known, but just give us a brief overview of it.
Quickly, we are running a democratic system where the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, provides for three main arms of government: the legislature, that is a parliament, and then we have the executive and the judiciary. With these three state institutions, the legislature having the power to make laws, and the executive implementing those laws and formulating policies, and the judiciary trying to uphold the laws. So these are the three main. But the Constitution has created a lot of anomalies and difficulties for these institutions to be independent and at the same time dependent on each other. And there's so much issues and controversies and inconsistency that has made the three arms of government find it difficult to operate independently and also to achieve their mandate as an institution.
My understanding is that there's a bit of difficulty hearing you, and so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll start off the conversation about this controversy, because for you and I, you think that it's these powers that are not allowing things to work. But we are hearing today from Dr. Ampao that the Constitution itself has done a few things that we might want to take a second look at. So don't go away. We'll continue the conversation on the three arms of government and how independent they have been over the years and how well they have worked together to deepen the democracy here in Ghana. Dr. Maurice Ampao, who started the conversation with us, is president for the Legal Advocacy Foundation. Right. So you made a point that the Constitution itself has made it very difficult for these institutions to be independent.
Yes, it will be very effective and independent. You have a situation whereby the Constitution create a provision and say that Parliament shall be the sovereign, so it has its own sovereignty, independent, the power to make laws. So members of Parliament are supposed to have that ability to make laws and to check the activities of the executive and to monitor them and to represent the people. But we have a situation whereby the Constitution also allow members of Parliament to become part of the executive. Now, where lies their loyalty? Would they be committed to the cause of issues bordering Parliament? So you have a situation whereby the executive, led by the president, can easily eye the members of Parliament and choose the best. Those who have loud mouth, those who can articulate, those who can criticize the government or take the government on. Just bring them on board and let them join the executive. Once you do that, now you deplete their strength and loyalty, because you have executive a member of Parliament who belongs to both the executive and then the legislature. So now you realize that because the executive is the one who calls the shots, and then most of the times they have a lot of influence over policies and programs and even money, spending of money. Now you see that the members of Parliament too become members of the executive because they have deputy ministers or ministers. Now their loyalty more will be with the executive, and then you see them betraying the same Parliament that they have to. So they either can bring information from the executive to the Parliament, and then they can also sabotage the activities of Parliament. And they have a situation where they don't even have time, because if you're a member of a Parliament and then you are a member of the executive, a minister, you have issues with your ministry to deal with. You have issues of cabinet meeting. You have issues of ensuring that the programs of the executive succeed. At the same time, you have to come to parliament, and then you are also going to critically look at issues.
But with that example, I mean, it doesn't really oblige you that you should be parliamentarian and you should be minister as well. And so you as a human being could decide that you want to let one go.
Yeah, but the problem is that the president
without necessarily breaching the that's the point I'm making.
Yes,
without breaching the constitution in any way.
But the constitution also says that the president must get most of his executive from the legislature. You see the problem. So the president they are tight. Instead of president looking somewhere and looking for ministers, people to help in running the executive, the constitution says that appoint most of your ministers and deputies from parliament. So you realize that if you're a parliamentarian, you need to catch the eye of the president, and that's the difficulty. And the president have certain majority of members of parliament to support him. So parliamentarians will always be looking at pleasing the president, because if you take the president on and take the executive on, you don't get a ministerial position, and that's where the largesse and then the opportunities and then the honorables things come from.
Then you've also made an example of the appointment of the Chief Justice and
yes, that's very interesting. You are saying that the judiciary should be independent and devoid of any interference here and there. Then the soul and the spirit of the judiciary, that's the Chief Justice, is appointed by the president. And then not only appointed by the president have the capacity to remove the Chief Justice. What if you want to remove the Chief Justice? All that he needs is to get a petition, and then he set up 5-member committee, and then quickly can suspend the Chief Justice. And in that 5-member committee, you have 2 of them coming from the Superior Court, and then 3 by the president. So if the president want to just remove the Chief Justice, all that he needs is a petition and get the president removed. So you realize that you have a weak system. The judiciary is weak. The judiciary cannot assert itself. It can only assert itself when it comes to judicial functions. But when it comes to administrative, even getting money, they have to go begging the executive to make money available to them. Recently, we have issues where they have difficulty in the allowance being paid, and then their budgets is being affected. As currently that we speak, the judiciary is down financially. They have issues with it. And how can you be independent when you don't have independence about your money? So that's the difficulty the constitution has put all of us into.
I mean, the point you've made now is the fact that the constitution seems to have shot itself in the foot in that angle. But beyond that, let's look at an overview of how we have practiced here in the country, or we have put the 3 arms of government to use. What would be your assessment of the effectiveness and independence of these institutions in strengthening our democracy?
I think that my assessment is that we've made the executive too powerful. We have a powerful executive president who is capable of doing everything than to change a man to a woman. The president is so powerful in our constitutional dispensation that in parliament he can decide who to become a minister. He can fire you at any time, and then he has what it takes also to this resource parliament. Meanwhile, every budget approval comes from parliament, but it's up to the executive to determine when the money will go. Then we have also a weak parliamentary system because financially they are down, and then also we have issues with logistics. They don't have offices, and they are always influenced by the executive decision. They always kowtow to the executive, because that is where they are comfortable. That's their majority. And then we have a judiciary that has also performed well, but to some extent has also challenges. The judiciary is facing a lot of difficulties because the infrastructure, the service itself has issues with poor condition of service, weak systems in place, and then once you don't have money to do your work, then you have they have difficulty, they have challenges. And then when it comes to the executive, it is only the executive that doesn't have challenges. Or it's only the executive. So in my assessment, out of the 3 arms of government, the executive is very, very comfortable. But when it comes to allowances and their largesse, they think about themselves first before giving some to the legislature and the judiciary. Have you ever had a situation?
Should that be a source of concern?
Yes, it's a source of concern because you see, Parliament should be powerful. Parliament is the representative of the people. It is the president is the only person that we voted for. But members of parliament represent the people. So if the president is so powerful that he can at times decide or influence the people, that's parliament, and then at times also interfere with their activities, and that's a problem. So with the three arms of government, so far so good, we've been able to manage it the way the weaknesses in our constitution that there's call from IEA for them to review. It's good in the right direction, but you are making the executive too powerful, and then they are calling the shots here and there, and you can see, come next year, you see most of the parliamentarians rushing to secure them their seats, or trying to as much as also to go and do politicking and leave the institution weak, and then you have the.
How does that impact on Ghana's democracy? What would be the impact on Ghana's democracy?
The impact is that you realize that our parliamentarians will be more politically conscious of their seats, and so they will try as much as possible not to put the interests of the people at heart, but their personal interests, how to retain your seats. So they will move out there to their various constituencies to do more campaigning and propaganda to get them re-elected and leave the works of parliament. And then you have a situation whereby the executive also will be affected because they also want to make sure that they get re-elected. And the only institution that is safe when it comes to politics is the judiciary, because they don't get elected, they are nominated and they are professionals, and they will be there. But the executive and the legislature come and go. So because of that, you can see a very weak executive and legislature during election period.
What would it take to have an effective separation of powers between the three?
What it would take is, let's look at the constitution and amend those provisions that one allows members of parliament to become members of the executive. You see, you know that the judiciary is very independent when it comes to membership. The members of the judiciary can never be members of the executive or members of the legislature. So let's have a situation whereby members of parliament are very independent, and so that their loyalty will be with the MP. They'll be committed more time, more resources, and then they can effectively check the executive because they don't have anything. They don't kowtow to them. They don't need anything from them. They rather will put a check on them. The executive comes out with a proposal for money. The legislature can look at it and say, we will not give you. But if you have a situation whereby most of the executives are members of parliament, and then they are also looking for the president to retain their...
We'll come back and talk about this amendment and where it goes at all, because I think we've seen a few exercises in that regard, but I'm not sure what we have changed.
Oh, we've not changed anything.
So we'll come back to it. Now we can go to the press center here in Accra. Emmanuel Ante is on standby for us as the forum, or by the NCCE, is about to take off. Emmanuel.
Hello, Kamini.
Tell us what's happening there at the press center.
Well, the program has just commenced. It just commenced some few moments ago, and we have all the members that are expected to be here, all seated, present, and waiting for things to go on and for things to unravel, for them to give their submissions and their contributions and all. At the moment, it's Samson Ladi who is coordinating everything, who is emceeing the whole program, and Justice VRC Crab is also here. The Deputy Minister, Dominic Ayine, is also here. So everybody, all is set, and things about to really get into there. We just received the opening remarks by the NCCE boss, who just gave his welcome address and all. So that's what is going on here. And very soon you'll be seeing the pictures live on Joy News.
We are seeing some already. We're seeing some already, and we'll come back to you for some more information on this as we carry the event live here.
All right, community.
Dr. Maurice Ampao is here with me in the studio still. He is president for the Legal Advocacy Foundation. So we were saying that in our bid to amend bits of the Constitution that we feel needed to be amended, we've seen a number of exercises. What happens to those exercises?
There are still challenges here and there. The constitutional review went round, and when they came, then the executive have to do their own amendment here and there, and people are not comfortable with that, because if you go saw the views of the ordinary Ghanaian and then they have put out their views there, you go sit somewhere and then you amend those views and you want us to accept those views. And then the proposals are too many and technical.
That is the challenge. The fact that you still need the executive we claim has too much power to accept the amendments
That is the problem we have now.
So what can the ordinary citizen do?
That is the problem. That's why we have to call for amendment of the Constitution to reduce the power of the executive.
But in our bid to do so, we would need the executive too.
Oh no, you need it, but don't give the executive too much power. Look, I'm telling you that the appointing powers of the president is too much that it creates problem for the president. You realize that the president who is sworn in have to take about 1.5 years trying to look for people to appoint, and then at times the lobby is becoming too much. It becomes unpopular. His own party begins to fight him. Then he loses concentration. As of now, the president is still keeping on appointing. You get right. Then it will surprise you that the DCs are even appointed by the president, which to me, it's putting so much pressure on the president.
This exercise of constitutional review and the continuation by the IEA and what the NCCE is seeking to do right now, are all of these exercises in futility?
Somehow it will be in futility if we don't stop symposiums, forums, seminars. Let's begin to ensure that these symposiums and seminars are workable ones. When we finish the recommendations and findings should be put in place. We have tired of symposiums and this. Actually, that's what is going to happen there. If you finish and all the nice talks and recommendations are not put in place, then what have you achieved?
And the difficulty I was saying now is, as it stands, nothing has changed about the Constitution. The same executive has got the same power it already has. But the issue is, we would need that executive with the power as it is now to amend. It means that we need an executive with the will to want to amend it, to reduce its own powers, to do it.
That's the thing.
And are we ever going to have that?
Yes, we will have that when the day we have a president who says that, look, I'm not there because of power. I'm there to ensure that things change for the better. So even when I put institutions and structures in place, and then I'll be a president who had 4 years, only 4 years duration. I'll be okay. We need such a president because it's about service. But if you have a president who thinks that, look, I need all this power to perpetuate my rule and to become an incumbent, that if I reduce these powers, I will not be seen as the boss, then we have a difficulty now.
We have looked at how independent the three arms of government are. Some of the challenges they are facing as a result of the lack of independence, or how they overlap and clash. Let's look at how effectively they have worked together over the years.
Oh yes, they have been effective to some extent because Parliament is doing its work. They are making their laws. They continue to make their laws. They allow people to make delegated legislation. Then the executive is also doing its bit by formulating, cooperating with the legislature. Then the judiciary has played a bigger role when we have the election petition. They stood up and then they were able to resolve the dispute. And so far so good. They are working, but they have challenges, and some of them are dying in silence. You know, they are afraid. We are operating a system where people who even head institutions are afraid to voice out their frustrations because they fear that they will be attacked politically. So the institutions are there, the leadership is facing crisis, and they are refusing to come out because they fear that they will be attacked or they will be removed by the almighty powerful president. You see, so if you have a situation whereby the president decides who is there and who goes, then everybody will begin to sing his praise, and everybody, because I'm surprised that all those who find themselves occupying positions are not bold enough to look into the eyes of the president and tell them that, look, we are suffering. But for their own political interests, they keep quiet, and then they want civil society and the media to speak about these things, and then they don't speak about it. And that's the difficulty we have.
What use is all of that if the citizenry does not understand the role he or she is to play, the rights he or she enjoys at the end of the day when all of these three arms of government come together to work, or when we allow them to be independent? In terms of understanding our Constitution, I mean, not as well as perhaps you do, but in terms of knowing that what is due you as a Ghanaian, how
then we are not performing, and then we go and talk about it. You remember the charge issue. Go and investigate common corruption. The charge comes to come out to say that we don't have money. But there's comfort.
Isn't the Ghanaian perhaps a lazy learner as well?
No, it's not a lazy learner. You see, what I realize is that we have people who are leaders of institutions, and they are thinking about themselves. They are afraid to leave offices because of what they have. They are afraid to leave offices because the prestige, you know, the largesse at the office. But if you are in to serve and the person who brought you to serve is not giving you the tool to serve, resign and put pressure. So we need to do what we need to do. And we need a governance system where every institution should be given performance contract, a mandate to deliver. If you fail to deliver, then you cannot be there. That's what we need. So that at the end of the day, all the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and all the various public institutions, we must have a system whereby we give you performance contract. By the end of the year, you should be able to do A, B, C, D. Failure to do so, you are removed or resign.
Anyway, we'd leave her here for now. But like I was telling you, we'll bring a live coverage of this NCCE event as the press center, as persons like Dr. Maurice Ampao himself, some legal brains, engage one another, including ordinary citizens, on the three arms of government, their independence, how effectively they have worked together, and what we could do to strengthen and deepen democracy here in the country. You might want to stay on for that. But in the meantime, for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com for the latest updates. However, when I see you again at midday, we will find out whether or not the 8 labor unions that served notice Monday to officially begin a strike today have decided to do so. I'll bring you more on that at midday. My name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. Absolutely exciting, as always, coming your way here on News Desk. Have a great morning.